Good morning, students. Let's start today's class. Our topic for today is heat. Introduction. In winter, you feel cold inside the house. If you come out in the sun, you feel warm. In summer, you feel hot even inside the house. How do we know whether an object is hot or cold? How do we find out how cold or hot an object is? In this chapter, we shall try to seek answers to some of these questions. Hot and cold. In our day-to-day life, we come across a number of objects. We see that some objects are cold while some are hot. You also know that some objects are hotter than others while some are colder than others. How do we decide which object is hotter than the other? A reliable measure of the hotness of an object is its temperature. Temperature is measured by a device called thermometer. Measuring temperature. A thermometer that measures our body temperature is called a clinical thermometer. A clinical thermometer consists of a long, narrow, uniform glass tube. It has a bulb at one end. This bulb contains mercury. Outside the bulb, a small shining thread of mercury can be seen. The scale we use is the Celsius scale indicated by degree Celsius. A clinical thermometer reads temperature from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. A normal temperature of human body is 37 degrees Celsius. Note that the temperature is stated with its unit. Laboratory thermometer. How do we measure the temperature of other objects? For this purpose, there are other thermometers. One such thermometer is known as laboratory thermometer. The range of a laboratory thermometer is generally from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Transfer of heat. There are three ways in which heat can flow from one object to another. These are conduction, convection, and radiation. In solids, generally, the heat is transferred by conduction. In liquids and gases, the heat is transferred by convection. No medium is required for transfer of heat by radiation. Now we will study them in detail. You might have observed that a frying pan becomes hot when kept on a flame. It is because the heat passes from the flame to the utensil. When the pan is removed from the fire, it slowly cools down. Why does it cool down? The heat is transferred from the pan to the surroundings. So you can understand that in both cases, the heat flows from a hotter object to a colder object. The process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as conduction. The materials which allow heat to pass through them easily are conductors of heat. For example, aluminium, iron, and copper. The materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are poor conductors of heat, such as plastic and wood. Poor conductors are also known as insulators. The water and air are the poor conductors of heat. Sea breeze and land breeze. The people living in the coastal areas experience an interesting phenomenon. During the day, the land gets heated faster than the water. The air over the land becomes hotter and rises up. The cooler air from the sea rushes in towards the land to take its place. The warm air from the land moves towards the sea to complete the cycle. The cooler air from the sea which moves towards the land is called sea breeze. To receive the cooler sea breeze, the windows of the houses in coastal areas are made to face the sea. At night, it is exactly the reverse. The water cools down more slowly than the land. So the cool air from the land moves towards the sea. This is called land breeze. From the sun, the heat comes to us by another process known as radiation. The transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. Kinds of clothes we wear in summer and winter. You know that in summer we prefer light colored clothes and in winter we usually wear dark colored clothes. Why is it so? Dark surfaces absorb more heat and therefore we feel comfortable with dark colored clothes in the winter. Light colored clothes reflect most of the heat that falls on them and therefore we feel more comfortable wearing them in the summer. Woolen clothes keep us warm in winter. In the winter, we use woolen clothes. Wool is a poor conductor of heat. Moreover, there is air trapped in between the wool fibers. This air prevents the flow of heat from our body to the cold surroundings. So we feel warm. What you have learned today? Let's have a recap. Temperature is a measure of the degree of hotness of an object. Thermometer is a device used for measuring temperature. Clinical thermometer is used to measure our body temperature. For other purposes, we use the laboratory thermometers. The heat flows from a body at a high temperature to a body at a lower temperature. There are three ways in which heat can flow from one object to another. These are conduction, convection, and radiation. In solids, generally the heat is transferred by conduction. In liquids and gases, the heat is transferred by convection. No medium is required for transfer of heat by radiation. That's all for today. Thank you.